Cool by Design Day 8, brought to you by Diego and Potencia Ventures. And today we are going to talk about one of a kind. If you remember, the last session, we left it at there are 3 stages that your company will go through. The non-default solution, when there is no trust, you are not well known. Default solution, when there is trust on the solution. And identity default, when there is trust from a specific group of people. So you become a symbol for that group. And we talk about the growth dynamics, the forces that can help you move from one box to the next. And what we need is perfect fit and one of a kind. And the whole idea behind this is when a desperate CI, somebody that failed with all these other solutions, is looking at this set, they can choose you. They can look at it and say, okay, this is the one that I need. And for that, yeah, you have to be different, not only from the other ones in the non-default category, but from the ones that he tried before. Look at this, like, how do you choose here? Like, there is nothing that you can grab. There is no criteria that you can use. All of them look similar. Now, maybe these two, maybe they are perfect for me. But if I don't know that from the exterior, like at the first glimpse, how do I choose? Also, yeah, this one looks slightly different than the other ones. But if that one doesn't work for me, it doesn't work either. So we need both, which Ulysses doesn't have. We need both, so when the user is looking at all the other solutions trying to choose one, he sees us and says, I choose you, Pikachu. That is what us, the Pikachu trainer, says when he's choosing one based on context and task. So, we know intuitively that there are some things that can help a user choose one solution over another. One of these is the functional dimensions, how the product does the task. What do I mean with that? Scrivener has depth. That means if you remember the perfect fit, there are functionalities, and it will have a lot of them, and then feature characteristics, like for each functionality, like the amount of options and complexity that you have. I will have also a lot of them. This is going to be perfect for some people. The trade-off is that it's going to be complex. They will present themselves as, yeah, we are more complete than anybody else. They are focusing on that functional dimension. Ulysses saw that and is like, everyone is deep, that's great, but they are also complex. So we are going to go against that. We are going to become easy to learn. We will have less functionalities. Each functionality is going to have less feature characteristics. That make it simple. They will present themselves as, hey, this is easy to learn, easy to use, which also has a trade-off, it's shallow. But you can see how these two are completely different. As a user, if I'm looking at them, I have criteria that I can use to choose one over another. And if I am a desperate CI that wants to write a book, this one, I don't care about the shallowness of it. The trade-off is not important to me. So I will choose that one. So functional dimensions help us choose as users. There is also a scope. This is for whom is the app. A scope that can be on the target segment, like a group of people, or more like the way that is supposed to be used by kind of a broader group of people. In this case, this app is just going like by the book, target segment, novelist, use case, write novels. So they are signaling that, they are presenting themselves in a really clear way. Ulysses, target segment, everyone that writes, use case, every writing, be it college essays, blog posts, or the next great American novel. So when we see this, it's like, okay, it's clear that this is only for novelists, and it's clear that this is everything. So as a user, at least this one is different. I have criteria to choose this one. And if I am a desperate CI that wants to write a book, we tend to prefer the thing that is more specialized, because we know, hey, if you just do one thing, only novels, not everything else, it usually tends to be a better solution just because of this specialization. So I will choose that one. Now, we end up putting ourselves in a position where a conflict is created. Like, if we are releases, we know that our product can be used by a lot of different people. That can be a beginner novelist, it can be a student that wants to write a blog. And when I was doing my research, I found an unexpected group that loves these types of apps, priests, that wants to write their sermon in a way that is easy to reorganize and play with it, and then use the same app to deliver the sermon on church, which is great. Now, the goal as a startup is we want to grow. And because growth is so hard, we are kind of scared of saying no to anybody. We don't want to scare them. So what happens is that the scope ends up being, yeah, we are not going to say no to anybody. So everyone here. And then we have the functional dimension, like, okay, we are simpler than, but we see that we are not growing. So what do? What we discussed the other day. If we are not growing, it's because our product is not good enough. So let's add more features. How? We will try to follow our functional dimension. It's like, okay, let's try to do more simple things, which is going against the idea of limited features. So we are degrading that. And for whom do we build these new features? Yeah, for everyone, right? Let's add things for blogs, and let's add things for presenting live, and let's. So the two of the things that we discuss can help users choose us. We are just not using them. It's for everyone, and we just keep adding things. So how do you present yourself in a different way as a one of a kind under this situation? But the USP that we will use, it will be something like, okay, this is for any writing, but hey, we are the best for anything. To prove that, we're going to explain all these cases in detail so you are convinced that we are the best. And to prove all of that, yeah, let me bring some logos here that proves what I said before. So again, because the goal is growth and we don't want to scare anybody, we end up putting ourselves in a position where it's really hard to differentiate, where we have these things. And then we end up creating a landing page like the one that Ulysses have. The best for writing, that is the same as the ultimate writing app for is everything, right? And then give me detail on everything, but hey, we are the best. So we are the best at writing books, and the ultimate, the best at posts and articles, at blogging, and of course, at everything else. And let me add some testimonials, say, I know that is a lot, but it's true. And then we just expect people to believe that. Does that happen? Let me zoom in for you. We are trying to be different. We are trying to help users choose us. And what we got is somebody that says one of many on the market. Exactly the opposite. Back to square one. Saying we are the best when everyone else is doing the same thing and we are all for everything, not gonna get us anywhere. So we can formalize the conflict as, okay, there is the functional dimension, the simpler that. But that is not enough because there are other 20 apps that follow the same route. So we need more than that. A narrow scope is one of these things that can help us achieve that, I choose you over another. So we need to be narrow. On the other hand, we need to grow as a company. So we have to address a big market. So we can't be narrow. So what do we do here? Maybe you are leaning towards yeah, Diego, you are right. Like narrow is good. And then the next question is like, yeah, but if you just target this narrow segment, how do you grow from there? Maybe you're not convinced about that. It's like, no, best broad is great. But then how do people choose you when you are like in that page with all of them? What is the criteria? The bestest? So today, let's see how people really perceive products. And based on that, we will find tools that we can use to become one of a kind. So they can choose us. So people learn about a new product through an interaction. That interaction can be with something, an app, a landing page, an article, or with somebody. Somebody that tells us about the app, somebody that is just talking about the app, somebody that is just using the app and we see them. We can slice these interactions in three parts. What is said, who is saying that, because it's not the same if we as a company are saying that a friend is telling you that, and something that we will call cues. Cues are additional signaling that are not part of what is said, the text, or the who. Things like when you're looking at an app store page, like the review score, or even the app look and feel. There is additional information there. Now, we are machines of collecting this data and finding the true meaning of it, reading between lines, converting the text into the real meaning of what is going on, the subtext. So this is what is not said, but is the true meaning of that. And then we collect all of that and compress it into a single concept, a single idea, and that is the positioning. Remember, positioning is something that happens in the mind of the customer. It's the place that a brand occupies, a brand or a product, in the mind of the customer, and how is distinguished from the products of the competitors. Now, this looks like abstract, so let's make it more tangible. You are right now on the App Store and you are looking for an app to write, and you see this. Look at it for a few seconds. And you already remember the positioning. Now it's going to help us make a decision. And you got here in seconds. What happened? Okay. What is said? A writing app. Who did that? The company, because I'm not showing you any other data that is not what the company is saying. And the cues, the review score, like the number of reviews, and this clear asymmetry here. And you read and gave meaning to all of that in seconds. It's like, okay, when looking at this doesn't look like an app. I don't see checklists, I don't see links, I don't see like a lot of pieces. So it looks like a note and you write a lot, something like for a blogger or a diary. You also saw really quick, okay, very few number of ratings, where you have probably the users, family and friends supporting the project. It looks like really early. It looks like it's still in development, and it doesn't have like major fans, and it has major flaws. And the positioning, yeah, it looks like another app. It's good. I really approve of the color choice, but it's a bit too early. In seconds. Now, let's try to understand some of the relations between the parts of the interaction. And the who changes everything. Back to the Ulysses example. If the company, we, Ulysses, is saying we are the ultimate writing app, what we as users understand, like the meaning of that is like, yeah, of course, you're trying to sell me something. Like, what are you going to say? That you are the worst? Like, no, just telling me that. But I don't believe it. I will look at the rest. It's like, yeah, it looks like another minimalistic writing app. I don't see anything special. And what you're telling me, eh. Now let's imagine that we are studying a course to write. And your teacher tells you in human language, yeah, that one is the best one that you can use. Same thing, coming from somebody different. What happens? What is the subtext of that? You are thinking, okay, this guy knows a lot of solutions. He's using them and testing them, and he wants his students to be happy. He's going to find the best for them. He probably tried several. If he's telling me that, that is without a doubt because he believes that that is the best for me. He's looking on my interest. So immediately, like, okay, this is the go-to, and you will choose that one. Not only that, if then I chose that one because I'm the student, and I talk with somebody else, I would tell him, yeah, you have to use that one. My teacher told me that is great. Completely different, right? We will call this a strong interaction. And that is characterized by the one that makes the option, the product that is talking about, look like the only alternative. I'm not going to look for another one. The teacher told me that one, I use that one. I'm not going to go like, no, I don't trust you. I know better than you. Now, positioning is the result of one or more weak, like this one, or strong interactions. But there is this really interesting nuance. The who did it, because we trust him or because we idolize him, is like a really famous person, an icon, somebody that we follow is like, oh, if he's using that, I'm using that. Can completely change the positioning. And a single interaction with the right who can lead to this go-to. Okay, so that is a really interesting way to position ourselves. That is like somebody else talking. Let's talk about the cues, the other part here. Remember, these are additional signaling. So when we have this, because we know that we are not truly different on paper functionally, is the same as the other 20, we try to add credibility to that. So we put our logos and our testimonials. And then we encourage users to leave good reviews. And if the review is bad, we tell them to talk with customer support, right? And users know that. Like, they see these manipulations with all the other apps. And we try to collect badges from everyone that is willing to give us one. And of course, this is not the same as this. But it's also not the same as this. Where Google Docs have like not only higher rating, but just a couple million reviews. So this kind of help us get into a different league. We are playing Premier League, great, but we are not playing Champions League. And in our league, there are other people, other teams that play with the same rules, where they have the same logos, and the same volume of reviews, and the same ratings, and the same badges. We will call this specific type of queues, default queues, that make you look like a default solution. This, probably in the past, like say, 10 years ago, probably could make you even be more perceived as a default. But they were overused. As with anything that is overused, it loses value as a signal. It has less meaning because you see it being false, being manipulated more often. And then now, when you look at these logos, maybe in the past, the first time that you saw that, it's like, oh, wow, like this company is using them, like that's great. Now you're seeing logos everywhere. And you don't know like why that logo is there, what is the relation, you know nothing. So it's like, I don't know if I can trust that. So default queues just help you change league, put you in a different trust level. But careful, they don't make you a default solution. Remember, default solution is when everyone around you seems to use it based on your network. yeah, this helps. But everyone around means a lot of other interactions with a lot of other who's. If I see this and then I check top 10 list and I don't see you there, and I go to forums and people are discussing very heated about other solutions and you are never present there, if I never saw anybody using it or even talking about it, you are not a default solution. So, as I was saying, like, there can be a group that is another focus grading apps and a different league that is a more trusted focus grading apps. And of course, if I'm at the Spec CI, I will start with these ones and I will check them. But because they look the same, I don't know what to do. To the point that if I'm not convinced, I can even just discard the value of the default queues. Is like, you know what? I just need something. I don't care if it's just completely new. So I will go to this group. That because they are all the same, I have the same problem. Remember what is the goal here. The goal is to become one of a kind. So the user can clearly like see, okay, you are different. You are alone in a box. You are that one for a reason. Then, if for me, that reason why you are different matters, so that is fit, then we have the combination of, okay, then you became the go-to for me. This is perfect. This is what I'm looking for. So I will choose you. So what can we do? Okay, so we know about the interactions. We know that we have to be different. And we know that the who has massive effect. And that's the whole idea behind DMARC, decentralized marketing. Not us talking, how to make other people talk, not paying them. We will see the ways to make them talk so the subtext is genuine. If you are paying them, it's pretty much the same as this. And that will be DMARC. But can we do something? Can we, as a company, so the who is us, can we at least do something? And now you are thinking, why should I worry about we as a company doing something if I can just do this? This looks great. So why don't we just skip to DMARC? Okay, remember something. For DMARC to work, like we need the teacher to talk about us. For that, we have to reach the teacher, like a lot of other people are gonna do. Directly, because they are also doing DMARC, or indirectly because they are just doing their thing and people are talking and the teacher ends up seeing that. So we have to present ourselves in a way that captures his attention. He's like, oh, you look different. And then he tries that and the positioning created is like, okay, look, wait, this looks like the best for my students. And then we will have him talking about us. So yes, we have to work on our presentation first and then looking for these people later. We have to do both. So we can't skip that. So let's see, how can we present ourselves? Remember the key problem here. If we, the company, boast, brag about our product, that is not credible. So we have the default queues that help us get to another league, but also doesn't solve the credibility problem. It just moves you to another group. So is there something that we can say or show or do that is actually credible as a company? And of course, something that help us be one of a kind so users can choose us. Does this thing exist? And we will call that fit cues. Cues that help people identify you are different and you are exactly what I'm looking for, like a perfect fit. Where they are really strong subtext signals that are credible even if we are saying them. That we can combine in a way that they are going to create this one-of-a-kind positioning And of course, we don't want to change the whole product. We are trying to see how we can present ourselves in a different way. Because it's not really about what you are, but about what you look like. And what are these fit cues, also called tabs? The task framing, the angle, the price, and the scope. Which task framing is signaling what is this thing for, the angle, how does the product does the task, and price and scope, who is this thing for. So let's see the examples to better understand that. You can present yourself for the broad task. Yeah, write everything, whatever. You can also frame against a much narrower task. Write books, only books, not blogs, not everything, not essays, no sermons, books. In fact, right now, like the people that really value the app are talking about that. It's like, yeah, it looks like a really elegant alternative to Scrivener. It's simpler, more modern, but it does a lot of the same things. This guy was using Scrivener and now switch and it works for him. So the market is pulling in that direction. But we don't want to say no to anybody, and we are now trying to bring the bloggers. Look, the market is pulling in that direction. Why this thing works? As I explained before, the subtext when you see something that does one thing instead of many things is that is probably better. It's more specialized. You will see if in reality that is true when you experience the product. But on paper, that is strong signaling. But I'm talking about specialized. So no, it doesn't work to say, no, the ultimate for writing your book and the blog and no. What I'm saying is this is your homepage, not this plus everything else. That's it. Books. In fact, the boasting part doesn't help with credibility. Be clear. Specifically designed to write novels. Okay, that is telling me a lot. And it's much better than this. And now I can choose you because like, oh, yeah, that's what I want to do. Scope. That is based on the who. So now, all kind of writers, so everyone that writes. We can frame that against a narrower segment. Novelist, right? Again, only this. They have that now in the homepage among 20 other million things for other people, including this one too. But look at this, like their functional dimension is simpler. And they kind of forgot about that. That is not mentioned anywhere. It's something that people talk about later. You see that, like an elegant Scrivener, Ulysses. But it doesn't like, they're not using it for anything. Who will prefer something that is simple? A new novelist. So go there. What is the main dimension for that? Like, it's easy to learn. It's simple. It's shallow. They don't care because that is exactly what they are looking for something shallow that is easy to learn. The subtext, yeah, when you are not only a specialist but ultra specialized, then it's like, okay, like, look, this has to be the best thing because you know what? Nobody else in the market is just going that place. You are the only one right now that are saying, yeah, this is for new novelists. It's like, that's really strong signaling. And the price, business model. So we always have this problem with the price. Like, is it right? Is it too much? Is it too little? A big part of that problem is because we know that we have different people that are using it for slightly different things. So the competitors that they experience when looking for alternative solutions are also different with different prices. And we don't know how to anchor this thing. Now, when you just have one product for 3 complete different tasks, for people that are looking at different solutions, it's just a matter of time until you piss somebody off a lot. Like this one. I would expect excellence for this kind of money. Okay. We have the other person saying, this is perfect, it's great, it's even better than a Scrivener. Because he has this task, and for that, this price looks right. But what about somebody that wants to write a blog? Came because he saw all the blogging thingy, and he's like, hey, for this price, you should be incredible, because the other solutions cost like a fraction or free. But because we are also trying to be everything for everyone, we don't have plenty of features for bloggers, just the bare minimum. So this happens. How do I avoid this problem? Okay, let's just go for novelist. Now, this makes everything much easier. People will develop a sense of what price means really quick. They will check identity default. They will check all the solutions. Like, okay, so I'm seeing the ranges here. Because price is something random. Like, we just put that price and it could be something else. But once a category is created and there are prices, then that's what defines the category. And here is like, okay, this seems to be the cost of apps for serious writers that could have been 200, but they decided that 50. Therefore, 15 one-off payment, yeah, that is for casual writers. Is that true? Not necessarily. The prod can be the same prod, but when you just look at price, you assume, you infer a lot of things. And in this case, what is this thing for? Who is this thing for? So now, if we release this and we only go for novelist, it's like, okay, we know that this is in the right ballpark for serious writers. We are signaling the right thing. Where, remember, the subtext of price first is gets you on a subcategory and top end. And of course, if something is more expensive, we assume it's better. Again, not necessarily true, but it's usually true. And that's why this signal kind of still holds. With a hack here, and this is why the business model is so interesting. Suddenly we are better because we are expensive, and we are cheaper because we have the monthly plan. And it's like, okay, I'm not sure about the whole writing thing. I don't know if I'm gonna like write the book. If I can minimize my risk, just paying $6 a month. Do this for like the free trial that both have, and then 3 months I still like see if I will use it, if I like it. So that's great. And finally, the angle. The angle is how the product does the task. Remember from the previous session, the new way versus old way? That is the angle. So the old angle, Scrivener, maximum depth, everything. On the writing category, suddenly came the new angle that was like this minimalistic type of app that what they have is a page that has a lot of text. And then the new thing. The new thing, like Obsidian, considers every paragraph a block. And then they are connected. Versus a page is a thing, a paragraph is a thing. Now, the subtext of new is that it's better. We know that new technology, the new thing is better. And now you're looking at this like, yeah, I disagree with that. This doesn't look better. Like, yeah, there is some nuance to the new is better. It has to be trusted. You're looking at this, it's like, this is insane. But if I tell you that Notion uses the same design paradigm, Notion is also the new angle. Everything in Notion is a small block, which creates this idea of you have like different sources, and then you can use link to that block and create templates that are fed from that. That is what made Notion what it is. This idea of templates and how you can build with these blocks. Now, this is the new thing. This is what makes Notion exciting. And this is also what makes Ulysses boring. Like, yeah, a page, just a page with everything, and then you just get different pages. No, that is not cool. Like, what is cool is linking everything. Obsidian didn't get the same amount of trust. It has his own group of followers, including me, but it's not Notion. but you see how this works. And now you are thinking, yeah, that's great, but we were talking about the get that without changing the product. And if you are Ulysses, I don't want to change everything and make everything a small blog right now. So what do we do? Remember Loom? Because Loom was trying to solve a task, that is UX customer feedback, where the old angle is just get in front of people. And the new one was, okay, let's talk with people, or people record things and send that to us. And there was just another one with a lot of other companies, each one with its own flavor of the recording, but another one. And they saw people using it for something completely different. Same product, completely different task. Team communication. They were sending short videos to each other. Where the old angle is email, the new one that now kind of looks old is Slack, is chat. And the new one, yeah, why writing a really long email or chat message when you can just record a 2-minute video? That's better. Same product. So the thing with Angle, to be able to use it, you have to find this thing. And that happens through anti-fragile discovery. It's going to be like a matter of chance. Suddenly people are using it in a weird way. That is much better and get you in a place that is not only one of a kind, but on the new category. And because you have all this pool, it looks like you're going to be able to build the trust and become the new default, and then you won. That is Notion. Also Loom. So let's recap all of this. We have the interactions where there is a situation here that they're not going to trust us. Now we have like an option. Let's create like the tabs for Ulysses, where the task framing can be write books, not all the content. The angle, elegant, simpler, scrivener. The price is high for serious writers, but it's cheap monthly. And the scope for new novelists. But if you look at this, it's like, okay, why is this credible and why this is not? Like, don't see the difference. Well, let's go deeper into that. When we are saying the ultimate writing app, there are two problems with writing and with the ultimate. The first one is the subtext of this is also that we are saying, if I am selling Ulysses to you and I am the company and I'm telling you we are the ultimate writing app, I'm also telling you, look, no matter what type of writing you want, I have something for you. You look like a market seller, like, don't worry, don't go. Like, I have something. If you write, I have something. Looks like desperate, right? And we don't like that. The subtext of that is not right. Also, we are saying, I not only have everything, but everything that I have is the best. And we intuitively know that if you go for a generic solution, it's going to have a lot of things, or a broad solution, but it's going to be kind of mediocre. But one that has everything and is the best on everything, yeah, like that doesn't play well alone. So, on the other end, what is the subtext of this? When we are saying write books, we are also saying, if you want to write a blog, then check somewhere else. When we are saying elegant, simpler, scrivener, we are also saying simpler. If you want depth, if you want all the features, check somewhere else. When we are saying this is high for serious writers, price high, we are also saying, look, if you want casual, yeah, choose the cheap one. And when we are saying this is for new novelists, we are saying if you are an experienced novelist, check somewhere else. And why they're credible? They're credible because there is an inferred sacrifice. What you are saying is we do this and we don't do that. This sounds desperate. We see like your desperation, trying to boast everything. I have everything for you and everything is the best. This is confident. This is proud. This is what we do. And we do it right. We do it better than anybody else. But if you don't need what I do, that's great. Go somewhere else. And that has a really strong signaling, a really strong subtext. That's why people trust this. So, now that we know why this is going to be trusted, we also saw how you can combine the four in a way that gets you into a place where nobody else is. In this case, like the combination of four for new novelists. So one of a kind. And we saw how you can get here without having to change the product. We just change how you present the product. All of that when the company is saying that. Now, you will want to wrap that into kind of a single sentence, the unique selling proposition. And you can go for something like specifically designed for new novelists. But you can try variations that better convey the message of these four elements. But that is going to be trusted. That is going to make it look like present itself as this is different, it's one of a kind. And if I'm a novelist that wants to write a book and has no experience, when I see this, it's a perfect fit. So I will choose it. And how do we grow from there? Because we talk about the conflict, right? And I was talking about narrow, but this is narrow. Well, the solution is going to surprise you, but we're going to see that in the next session. In the meantime, you can't be another box because there is no way that I know that I have to choose you over the other if you present yourself as just another box. Be a pink box, a proud, unique pink box. Next week, we will see how to increase sales of pink boxes. Thank you very much.